Welcome everybody to the top producer interview for the Mortgage Mastermind group. I am Paul Baxter, and guys, girls, if you haven't heard me say this, I am here to help you grow. Today, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different than we normally do. Normally on Fridays, our top producer class is normally with a top producer. We've had Chad Bates on, we've had Alan Gross on, talking about strategies that they're using inside their business. We are going to continue with that, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different because I've got a brand new strategy that I've just learned how to do. It's a little bit technical. We're going to get very involved in it, and I'm going to give you some instructions in just a minute here, but I wanted to bring it to you today because it's just so fresh and so hot off the presses. I wanted to make sure that you guys had this really, really cool strategy to do. Now, that's the preface. Most of you on the call, I think there may only be one or two people on the call that have not seen my presentation on Facebook custom audiences. Terry, are you familiar with Facebook custom audiences at all, Terry? And I'm asking you specifically because I recognize the other people on the call with me, and I know that over the last couple of years that since custom audiences has been available, I have taught that previously, and I know that a vast majority. Okay, so Terry, if you would like, what I can do is if you put a message in here, get with Chris, and I will be glad to set up a time, and I'll work with you one-on-one on showing you the basics of custom audiences, what it stands for. I think you'll get the gist of it out of today's class, but I want to make sure. The reason I'm saying that is because what we're doing today is we're going to take what we know about Facebook custom audiences and we're going to put that on steroids. Literally put it on, I realize that for baseball players and for football players, saying that you're doing something on steroids is not necessarily the best idea, but in the mortgage business, as far as marketing is concerned, putting your marketing efforts on steroids is a good thing. We're going to blast it. I mean, this is really going to take what you're doing with custom audiences and Facebook marketing and take it to the next level. This is some amazing stuff. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this is very technical stuff that we're going to go through. There are some very specific codes that you have to have in order to make this work. You have to put these codes in the right place to make this work. I want to encourage you, not encourage you, that's probably not the best way to say it. I'm trying to say this as politically correct as I possibly can. This is not the class to be multitasking with. This is not the class to be looking and doing other things because you will miss a very intricate part of what we're doing, and if you miss that part, if you miss one part of the setup on how to do this, you're going to be lost. It's not going to work for you. Now, I also need to say this with the disclaimer. Even if you do everything 100% perfectly, this may not work on your computer, depending on the security settings that you currently have with, if you have Norton or McAfee antivirus, it may prevent this from working for you. If it doesn't work for you, start looking at shutting down your internet securities. And there has even been, I've taught this to a handful of people and shown a handful of people. I've seen it done from a handful of people as well. So far, there has been one case that no matter what we did and how we did it, we could not get this to work on that person's computer. So today's class, I will tell you, it is absolutely powerful. It's great stuff, but I'm saying it with a caveat that depending on your security settings on your computer, this may not work for you. There are other tools that we can show you if it doesn't. This is by far what I feel is the most powerful of the tools and gives you the best result. So that being said, pay attention to class today, guys. You do not want to miss any of this. As far as the codes are concerned, I will give you access to them so that you will have them and be able to use this on your own, but I highly encourage you, Don't be multitasking on today's class. It's too powerful of a tool that I'm going to show you, and it's too technical and you may miss something. So make sure you're engaged. All right, so the first step for doing the Facebook custom audience on steroids, first step is more of a disclaimer. You absolutely must be doing this on Google Chrome. You cannot do this on any other browser. Before you ask, no, it will not work on Safari. No, it will not work on Internet Explorer. No, it will not work on Firefox. You must be using Google Chrome to do this. If you don't have Google Chrome, again, don't go do this right now while we're talking. After class, when we're finished, go to google.com/Chrome and download Google Chrome. That's the first step that you need to do. Again, don't do that during class. You want to make sure you're paying attention here. I'm going to provide this PowerPoint to you. You'll have access to it from the member site. Download it. You can click the link, or after we're finished, just write down on the side real quick that you need to go to google.com/Chrome and download Google Chrome. Once you have it downloaded, open Chrome. The next step is you're going to get what we call a scraper tool. It's called a scraper tool. You're going to copy and paste the link below into a tab on Chrome. Now, if you go to Chrome and you search in their applications for scraper tool, you'll get 1,000 different ones. You'll never find this one. See this funky name at the back end of it? This is not a regular scraper tool or a regular application in Chrome. This is a specialized one. So I highly recommend that you, to get your scraper tool, wait until this presentation is over, go to my PowerPoint, and click on the link to get the scraper tool. Then you're going to click on Add to Chrome Options. You'll see the button pops up when you go to that link. Notice I went to that link up here, and then this pops up, and you've got an Add to Chrome option right there. It's very simple to do. Just make sure that you've got the correct link to get there. Don't just go search the applications in Chrome for a scraper tool, because it won't bring you the correct scraper tool. Again, click on Add to Chrome. That's step one. Step two. Step three is you're then going to go to Facebook and search for the audience that you want. Now, I'm going to show you this live. My goal is to complete the presentation in enough time to show you this live in a real-time situation so you understand what the search is. What we're utilizing, if you notice, I put in people who like Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. I didn't just do a search for Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. I did people who like Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. The reason I put the people who like in there, what you're doing is you're now tapping into a section on Facebook called Graph Search. What Graph Search allows you to do, it was designed to allow users to find things that interest them and find people who are like-minded and interested in the same things. People who like red fishing, people who like to play golf, people who ride horses. It's a way to find people who are like-minded to expand your network of friends. That's why it was designed. For us as marketers, it gives us a really cool way to be able to find our best targets. People who like Florida Association of Realtors, people who like Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. I'm sure that all of you sitting in and listening right now can think of already some Facebook fan pages in your local area that are real estate agent associated. Maybe it's a large Century 21 office that has lots of agents that are part of that page. Maybe it's your local association like the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. Maybe it's a statewide thing like the Virginia Association of Realtors or Virginia Realtors Association, however it's put together on your Facebook or for your area. But you're tapping into Graph Search and you're saying people who like, and then the name of the group that you're looking for. What that does is it gives you a display of the people who like that page. Depending on the size of the audience, you may need to scroll down a little while to expose the name. Facebook is only going to show a small portion of those names. So when you get here, it's not going to display, you know, like the Florida Realtors Association has 24,000 likes or people who like that page. Facebook doesn't display 24,000 miniature profiles here for me. I have to keep scrolling down, and if you notice on Facebook, when you scroll to the bottom of the page, any page that you go to, it shows see more and then automatically loads more for you. That's what you have to do here. That's what I'm describing in this step 3 continued, is that you'll scroll down to expose more people or have it show more results. And you may have to scroll down for a little while to expose all the results for the particular fan page that you're looking to scrape with. Now, step 4 in the process is in one of the little boxes. You see here these little boxes are miniature profiles. In one of the miniature profiles, it doesn't matter which one, you're simply going to right-click on one of the people's boxes, and you're going to have a whole bunch. When you right-click, you know you always get the options: copy, paste, undo, redo, save as, open link as, all that different stuff. One of the options, now that you've added this awesome scraper tool, is an option that says Scrape Similar. That's the option you're going to select. Here's what it looks like. So I've exposed all the people that I needed to. I right-click in one of the boxes, and it gives me the options here, the save as, translate, all that good stuff. Notice one of the options is Scrape Similar. That's the key right there, is the Scrape Similar. So when you click that Scrape Similar, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up the scraper tool on your screen, and there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. It says all kinds of weird things. You don't have to worry about what that box says if you follow these instructions. The first thing that you're going to need to do is under the selector section is you're going to change it from the default. It's a little drop-down menu. You drop that down and you select the option that says X Path. Again, that's very important. Unfortunately, I do not remember what the default is or what the other options are, but if you're doing this, when you drop that menu down, the one you are specifically looking for is called X Path. Once you've changed it to X Path, the next thing you're going to do, remember I mentioned that you have to have some very specific codes to make this work correctly. The first one is this code right here. Oops. This code right here, // div bracket contains parentheses at data dash bit comma quote ID quote, all the extra stuff. You must copy this entire code right here and paste it into the box provided, or the box to the right side of where you selected XPath. You simply copy that and paste it in there. Okay? Copy and paste. That's about as technical as we're going to get, is copy and paste. But guys, trust me on this. Follow me here. This is hardcore stuff. So you copy this little key or this code and paste it in here in the selector section next to where you changed it to XPath. And when you do that, it pops open a box with a whole bunch of information in it over on the side. Once you click the scrape tool, so the steps that we've taken so far in Google Chrome, we've added the scraper tool. We've gone through and we've done a graph search for people who like and the specific place that we want to scrape from. We've right-clicked and scrape similar. In the box that pops up, we've changed it to XPath and we pasted in this little code. The next step from there is click the scrape button. It's on the bottom of this little box that comes up. Once you've done that, you've got all this information, and trust me, you can scroll through here and you will see that how many ever records you've exposed by scrolling down will be there. And then the next step there is to click Export to Google Docs. So once you've pasted in that little code, you click Scrape and then automatically click Export to Google Docs. that will automatically open up and create a Google document for you. Automatically. It does it automatically for you. Once it has opened up that Google Doc, the first thing you want to do is clean up your list a little bit. The very first two columns, or rows, excuse me, are text and session ID. Just delete 1 and 2, rows 1 and 2. It cleans it up. Now all we're left with, there's no verbiage, it's just left with the information that contains what we're looking for exactly. So the next step there, after you've deleted row and 2, step 8 is to right-click on column A. So you're on column, you hover over A, you right-click and insert one row to the right. So I want to make sure we're following this, guys. Again, it gets a little bit technical. We click Export to Google Docs, and that will automatically pop open and create a Google document for you. You're going to delete rows 1 and 2 so that we're only dealing with the data that we have scraped. Then you're going to right-click and insert one row to the right. So insert one right. What that does is it adds a second row. You've now got a column B and A. Okay? In the B1 field, so you've inserted a row to the right, which leaves you with a column B now. So in the B1 field, the very first box available under the B column, you're going to copy and paste this code right here. This is the next code. Equals right, left, A1 find, quote, comma, A1, -1. I mean, it's a code. Don't try and remember it. Don't try and learn it. Don't sit there trying to write it all down. You're going to miss a dash or a dot somewhere. Now, this particular piece of the code, for whatever reason, when you're creating a PowerPoint, I want you guys to notice in my PowerPoint that my quotation marks are sort of slanted a little bit here. I don't know why this happens, but if you paste the code into Google Docs just like it is, because these quotes are slanted, it will not allow it to work the right way. What you have to do is, once you paste this code in, go in and delete the quotation mark and retype it. Delete the quotation mark, retype it. Delete the quotation mark, retype it. Make sure that the quotes stay on the outside of the comma that it's outside of. So you will have to delete and retype the quotation marks, because for whatever reason the little slanty quotation marks, it breaks it in Google Docs. But when you delete it and retype a quotation from your keyboard, it works just fine. What that does is, you'll notice that that box on the B1 box now changes to a number. That's now changed to a number by itself without all the garbledy-goop and codes and every doggone thing else. Once you've pasted that formula, again, notice in the formula I had to go in here, I deleted the original comma or quotation marks, retyped it. Delete, retype, delete, retype, delete, retype. That leaves me with the box. Step 10 is to click the small square. Some of you are used to using Excel spreadsheets, and that's what kind of doc this is. It's basically an Excel type sheet. So in that box on B1, you notice it's highlighted by blue, and on the very bottom right hand corner there's like a little tiny square thing. You're going to click on that tiny square and drag that all the way to the bottom, and just hold your mouse down at the bottom, and it'll take you all the way to the very last record. You need to drag that all the way through, all the way down to the bottom. When you do that, you're next going to right-click and copy the contents. Once you do that, dragging the box all the way to the bottom, what it does is, notice that formula now fits for all of those boxes, and now column B is nothing but a number, all by itself a number, and it's highlighted in blue. which means you can do something with it. All you have to do with it is right-click and copy. You're just copying the contents of what's in column B after you've put the formula in there, which is nothing but a number. Guys, guess what that number is? I'm sure some of you can. That is their Facebook ID number. You now have, instead of for a custom audience utilizing an email address, which may or may not be the email that they signed up for their account with, instead of one at a time going to get Facebook IDs to ensure that that specific person is getting your notification, this is a way to scrape an entire fan page's Facebook ID all in one fell swoop. Step 12, once you've copied that information from the Google Drive document, you then need to put it into a format that's uploadable into Facebook. So what I always do is I paste it into a notepad. If you didn't know, a notepad is a plain text document. Its extension is .txt. Well, I'm going to show you in just a moment with Facebook Custom Audiences, you can upload two types of files. You can upload a CSV type file or a .txt type file, a plain text file. That's why we're using Notepad here. So what I copied in column B here, I simply paste into a blank notepad here. Step 13 is a pretty easy one. You go to the File button on the top left of your notepad document that you just created. You right-click or you click on File and you click on Save As. That's going to give you an opportunity to save it in a specific location, a desktop, a folder of what or whatnot, wherever you want, and then give it a name. So name your scrape. Mastermind group, or Florida Realtors, whatever you want to name that scrape, you just give it a simple name. The next step is to do something with the list we just scraped. Now, before I get into these next steps, I'm going to stop here for just a minute and go back. I want to make sure that's the really technical part of what we're doing today, is how to utilize those two codes that you need to make that very, very specific scraper tool work to your advantage. I need to know, did everybody follow along okay with that? Is there any questions about the scraper tool itself, or about the codes, or about the method in which we did a search for the specific groups? Is there any questions about utilizing the scraper tool itself? And I'm going to pause here for just a minute and let you guys have a moment to answer me. It's important to make sure, guys, we typically, I try to do as little as I can in terms of very difficult technical stuff. This is a little more technical than what we normally do. This one gets a little bit techy, and I want to make sure that you guys are following along okay. James, absolutely, this is being recorded. It's not only being recorded, but we're going to include the PowerPoint with the recording. Hopefully have that up before the end of business today together, so that this is definitely one. I know when I first learned how to do it, I was on a webinar very similar to this, on a training very similar to this, where the guy was just kind of going through it. I watched the recording 3 times myself to be able to get it down pat, quite frankly, and so I want you guys to be able to you may need to watch this once or twice to really get the gist of how this tool works and utilizing the tool itself. I'm sure that just by now you understand the power of what I'm talking about. You now have the ability in the palm of your hands to go out there and get a list of any agent group you want. You now have the ability to go in there and scrape any of the fans of your local real estate agents' fan pages, which, by the way, most of their best clients, most of their best referral people that are giving them buyer referrals and their past clients are fans of their page. So now you've got that to market to as well with different Facebook ads. I don't need to tell you the power of this. It's just important that you understand the technical aspect of it and making sure that you can get it done. It looks like, that being said, not a lot of questions in there other than is it being recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward And hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end of this today, and it looks like we should have a little bit of time to go live and answer questions at the end as well. So let's move on to step 14. Step 14 is to go to Facebook Ads Manager. Once you're on Facebook Ads Manager, a question popped in just as I was saying that. What time will the recording be up and live? It just depends on how much time it takes it to render, James. I can tell you that Chris is pretty good about having those recordings up and on the site about 3 hours after the class is over. So just give it a couple of hours. It will be up before the end of business today. All right? So again, step 14, go to Facebook Ads Manager. When you're in Facebook Ads Manager, you're going to select the Audiences section. From there, you're going to click on Create Custom Audience, and this is what it looks like. I was on my profile. I went to the Ads Manager. Once I was in the Ads Manager, I went to the Audiences section. Once I was in the Audience section, I clicked on Create Audience. The next step is to select what kind of custom audience you're going to do. For what we're doing here, it's a data file custom audience. This is a data file custom audience. When you select that option, you're going to have an opportunity to name your audience so that you can find them easily. The next step after that is to type in or to select the data type. Now remember, what we just did is we scraped Facebook user IDs. So the data type we're going to use is user IDs. Once you've given it a name and you've selected the data type, you're going to choose the File button, find the Notepad document that you saved in step number 13, and you're going to open the file. So what happens is once you choose your data type, you get this File button. You choose File, navigate to where you've saved it and whatever you've named it, click Open, and it adds the file, and then all you have to do after that is create audience. Okay? Create audience. When you create the audience, it's now, Facebook kind of, it's not an instant thing. It usually takes, depending on the size of your list, it could take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, but you will get a notification from Facebook letting you know that your custom audience is now ready. Okay? You simply click OK, and you'll get that notification. What it is the custom audience setup is separate. It's now, the servers on Facebook are now looking for, notice that I uploaded 5,808 records, 5,808 of 5,800, I got 5,806 of 5,808, so 2 of my Facebook IDs were off, or the accounts were closed, or whatever that is. But that is, you know, when you're doing it with an email, you typically get somewhere around, you know, if my list is 1,000, it'll show me that 700 of 1,000 records added. What Facebook's now doing is looking to make sure that they're matching up that number with a specific account, okay? And it just takes a few short minutes, and now you're ready to create a Facebook ad directed towards your new audience. You're going to target exactly who you want. Real estate agents. Here's a cool one to think about. What if you did a scrape on your local Veterans Association and you started running a consumer direct ad targeting VA loans? What if you found a seniors group and scraped all the user IDs of the seniors group and started running ads talking about reverse mortgages? What if you found the local teachers association and ran a Facebook ad talking about Homes for Heroes directly to that teachers association or the firemen's association or whatever? It's limitless. The options are limitless. Okay? Really easy to do. If you know the technical stuff, the technical side of what we're doing are these 2 codes. The most important part of this scraper tool are knowing or having the codes and knowing that you have to change that quotation mark when you paste it in there or it does not work. Now that leaves us with plenty of time, and I don't have any questions in the queue box, so what I want to do is I want to show you how this works live. So let's go to Facebook real quick here, and I apologize in advance for anything that may happen to pop up on my news feed. I apologize in advance. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find what pages have the most amount of potential targets or user IDs or fans that I can tap into. The first and most obvious is your realtor associations, right? So let's find out what we've got going on in, so Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, there is a closed group. I don't want to see that, so I'm going to go down here. Even though I'm searching, I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to search more results and see what other results I can come up with. Now these are all the results. I'm going to filter this out by pages, and notice that I've got the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors here. There are 4,030 likes. There's a Realtors Association of Metropolitan Pittsburgh. There's a Greater Harrisburg Association, both with a good amount of likes on them. Greater Philadelphia Area Association, again with a good amount of likes. So I know I've got some good targets here. So the next step for me, I'm going to go with the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. So in my search, I'm going to say people who like Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. And I need to move my question box out of the way or I can't see it. People who why is it? Why is it only giving me the private group? Well, I'm going to click on it, and it's still going to show me the people who are in the private group. The graph search is showing me the private group of the Association of Realtors here instead of the regular fan page. That's okay because it was 1,978 names in there. So notice I'm scrolling down to the bottom to get to more, and if you watch real close on the bottom of my screen, you'll see that see more message, loading more results. Loading more results. So I'm just kind of scrolling through. Now, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to take the time to do it for all 1,998. It does take a moment or two, but make sure that you're scrolling through. Now, I could probably sit here on the bottom with my finger. Notice I'm on the little arrow down here. I could probably sit here with my finger on the mouse and just let it scroll for a little while, and I would eventually come to the end of it. That's the only part that takes a little bit of time. But once you've exposed all of them, here's how easy this tool is to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on any one of these boxes, and I get that option for Scrape Similar. See right there, Scrape Similar? So I click Scrape Similar, and it pops open my scraper tool. Now, I've changed the default to XPath already. I think it stays on jQuery, but leave it on XPath. And then I'm not sure what that code is that's in there automatically, but I'm going to come back to my PowerPoint here. I believe it is step 9 that has my code in it, and I'm going to copy this code. And then I paste it into this space provided. Boom, I've pasted the code there. Now my next step is to click Scrape. Now once I click scrape, notice it's got a whole bunch of gobbledygook information here for 170 people is what I exposed as 170. Okay, so it's got all that information there. The next step is to export to Google Docs. Now it's doing its export to Google Docs. Notice that it automatically opened up all of that for me by itself. So the next step for me is I'm going to remove these first two rows, delete rows 1 and 2, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to right click and I'm going to insert one right. So now I have a column B. Now in column B1, that's that B1, I need to get my other code. Here's my other code. I'm going to copy this code. And I paste that code into B1, but it's not working. See how I got that error formula parse error? So if I come in here to where these quotes are and I delete that and retype it, delete, retype, delete, retype, delete, retype, now my box has a number in it. It works. So now I simply grab that little blue box and I drag this all the way to the bottom. There's my 170 and I let go of my mouse and boom. Now all of these have a number in them. So then I just right click on column B and I copy it. Right? I've copied what's on column B. I come over and I open up a brand new notepad and I paste that in there. So now I've got a notepad with all of my user IDs on there. And the next step is to just say File and then Save As. Now I can save this anywhere I want. I can go to my desktop and I can call this my PIN Association of Realtors. Okay, and oops, I can't see the thing, and then save that. So now I've got that saved, right? So I've just scraped my Pennsylvania Association of Realtors site and I've got it saved in a document. So now my next step is to go over to my Ads Manager. Inside my Ads Manager, I'm going to click on my Audiences, and then I'm going to create a new audience, or create audience, custom audience. What kind of custom audience is it? Well, we just saved it as a data file, so I'm going to select Data File. I typically will name my audience the same thing as what I named the document so that it matches. So we're going to call this the PIN Association of Realtors. I'm going to choose my data type is a user ID, and then I'm going to choose my file. So then I would just go to my desktop. There's my PIN Association of Realtors, and I click Open. So it's there. I can tell that it's, PIN Association of Realtors.txt. Now the next step is to create audience. It goes through its little process. It tells me it has 169 of 169 records added. I click OK. Now I've got my Pennsylvania, it's in a waiting. It's not ready yet. As we're talking about this, guys, you're going to see that that's going to pop open any minute now. It will become available and ready to me. In the meantime, if I want to just come back to my Ads Manager and I want to go on Create an Ad, you can go through and do an ad of any sort that you like. And it's kind of taking me through the whole do the ad, the right way kind of thing. Fun, fun, fun. Let's browse our library. What do we got? We got some images. So let's do, no, I don't want that. I want that. Oh, it's not big enough. It's giving me the old error message. That's not the point of what we're here. I can mess with doing some ads another time. We can do that as a whole other class if you guys would like to. What I wanted to show you is now I have, in this section, I have the ability to create or choose a custom audience. So if I click on choose a custom audience, you're going to notice that my Pennsylvania Association of Realtors is now there. So now I'm actually targeting, it's fewer than 1,000 people, which is Facebook saying, hey, you're not going to make us any money kind of thing, but I'm now targeting only the people that I just scraped using that amazing little scraper tool. It didn't take but a couple of minutes, and yes, I've done this 2 or 3 or 10 or 50 times in practicing and learning it. But you can be as efficient with it too. It does not take much time. The longest amount of time it takes to utilize this tool is the time it takes for you to scroll through these pages. So, you know, let's look up Florida, actually. Let's go Pinellas County Firefighters. Look at there, Pinellas County Professional Firefighters. There are 1,036 people that like that, so let's go with people who like Pinellas County Professional Firefighters. Boom. Now I've got my list of professional Pinellas County Professional Firefighters. I'm going to go through and I'm going to expose all of them. And guys, the floor is open for any questions that you may have about today's presentation, about the scraper tool itself, about utilizing it, making it work. I know Michael Chrisman. That's funny. That guy was my son's, the guy I just passed his face. It was funny. He used to be my son's Pop Warner football coach back in the day, 100 years ago. Well, maybe not 100. My son's only 15. But 7 years ago anyway. So it does take a little bit of time to scroll through and get everybody exposed. That's the only dilemma with this tool is you do have to go through and you've got to have it show up on the page for the information to be available in the tool itself. So it takes a minute or 10. When you're doing a big page, you know, a big page like an association page that's going to have thousands on there, be prepared to take a few minutes doing this. This does take a couple of minutes to expose the names. And I'm doing this because I want you to see a lot of times when you do it this way, when you have to scroll through this, you get an error message. But if you ignore that error message, you're good to go. You just have to close the error message and act as if nothing happened, and you're still good to go. I'm just trying to get enough here to where I'm prompting that error message. Yep, there it is. You need to reload this page before you can use Scraper. Press OK if you would like to reload it now, or cancel if not. If you click OK, everybody that you just exposed goes away and it brings you back to the beginning of the list. Click Cancel. Get your code. Paste your code in there. Scrape. And notice, even though I got that error message, I clicked cancel. I didn't say OK to reload the page. I clicked cancel. Big, big important thing. How many did I get in all that? 374. Wow. Okay. So it does take a little bit of time to scroll through. That's the pain in the butt part. Again, you could sit here with your mouse, put a weight on your mouse or tape the mouse button down. Once it gets to the end, it's not like it's going to keep going or anything. Go out, get yourself a cup of coffee, go see the neighbor, go talk to your coworker for 10 or 20 minutes, say hey to everybody, come back in and see what all you've got, and then come and do it. But again, when you do that right click, let me close this and do it again. When you do that right click and you click scrape similar, you're going to get an error message. Once you get past a certain number, you need to reload this page before you can use scraper. Press OK if you would like to reload the page now, or cancel if not. Press cancel. That way, when you paste in your code and you click scrape, it's going to take a minute, but it will scrape all that for you. And without having to reload the page. If you reload the page, you're having to start from scratch. All right? Guys, that is all I have for you today. I will tell you, this is a powerful, powerful tool. It takes the power of what Custom Audience already brought to the table for us, which is the ability to target specifically who you want to target with your ad campaigns, doing non-performing or non-click ads, ads that are not meant to generate activity. You can now do that with your groups. You can now do your niche marketing specifically to your niches. Just get on Facebook and find your group that you're looking to market to. And trust me on this, if you can think of a group or a niche, there's a group about it. Seniors groups. No, I don't want that. I want Pinellas County Seniors Group. There, Pinellas County Seniors gave me a better result, so if I click to see more results, now I get a list view of all the seniors groups. Local business, 19 likes. Ooh, that's not a great seniors group. Let's go all the pages. Let's switch it up. Home instead, senior care. They've got 851 people that like that. That may be a good option. Let's check on groups. Nope, no seniors groups. What about Florida seniors? Florida Healthy Seniors got 27,481 people on it. I bet you $1 I could do a reverse mortgage anywhere in this state. That's a good one. Why not scrape that and start marketing your reverse mortgage to them? Florida veterans. Florida Veterans Association only got 28 likes because I don't know how to spell veterans. Let's see more results for Florida veterans. Let's go to pages. Veterans Party of Florida, so I am sure that that is a group of veterans. That's 1,135 people like that. Concerned Veterans of America, Florida's chapter, 985. AMC, that's a movie theater. Veterans Elementary School, Florida State University. Veterans Association, so people that went to Florida State, I probably would avoid marketing to them because they wear garnet and gold instead of orange and blue. North Florida, South Georgia Veterans Health System, so there's a veterans group. So any of these are good. Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, 11,347. That's the winner right there. So what I would do is people who like, what did I say it was? Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. The Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. Looky there. Boom. There's all the people who like the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. You think I've got some vets on here that would be interested in a VA loan to purchase a brand new home? Probably. So you can segment your list. You can focus on exactly who you want to target. For realtors, you can target your realtors and scrape their IDs. You can target clients as well. This is a win-win and a very powerful tool. Guys, girls, I highly recommend that you watch this recording, download this PowerPoint, save it to your computer in a place that you will remember where it is because you will need it. I promise you that you will need it. You have to have these codes to be able to make it work the right way. You have to have these codes to make it work the right way, but when you do get it to work, what you end up with is you end up with a highly targeted list of exactly who you want to follow, to see and follow your specific trail. So that's it, guys. I hope you learned a little something today. I know this one was a little more technical than what you're used to. I am here to answer any questions that you've got. Again, Terry, please shoot an email over to Chris. And let's get together sometime, you and I. I'll be more than glad to walk through with you on the basics of custom audiences. I think you get the gist of what custom audience does based on today's class. Today was just a little more advanced use of the custom audience, but be glad to help you out with that. Guys, girls, that's all I've got for you. I appreciate you taking some of your time on a Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We will get back to normal with our top producer stuff next weekend. Hopefully have a special guest for you. I'll be announcing it early. And that's it. We'll see you right back here, same time, same channel next week. Have a great weekend and be safe, everybody.